Today I'm gonna be making a quick settings video. I'm gonna show you guys the best settings you need to be rocking. A lot of people will ask me, you know, how do I get better aim in Call of Duty? You know, how do I become a better player? Whatever, this and that, this and that. It really is pretty simple. A lot of people, you know, they're gonna be, you know, they wonder. I feel like, you know, sometimes I'm getting zapped. Like, I'm dying super quick. I'm not even, you know, getting a chance to shoot my gun. What centering is it's putting your dot where you think an enemy player is going to be. Now, whenever I used to watch YouTube videos and stuff like that on how to improve my aim on Call of Duty, everybody says that. They're like, just put your dot where you think the enemy player is going to be. There's only one problem with that. It didn't make sense to me. And I know it doesn't make sense to a lot of other players because it's like, man, I'm going to be running around the map. Oh, they're here, they're here, they're here. Basically, the way I learned to center, and it's super simple too, you need to be clearing everything. So say I'm challenging this, right? Where could players be at in front of me? Could they pop up here? Yes. Could they pop up here? Yes. I need to be running around and clearing everything. That way I never get caught off guard. So look at this guy right here. I'm clearing this. There he is. Clearing this, clearing. There he is. You'll notice a lot of the time, you know, the way that these YouTubers, pros, streamers, it looks like they're playing against bots is because they're ready for every single gunfight. They're here, this guy's shooting at me from over here. I'm clearing. There's nowhere this guy can come from where I'm not gonna be ready to take that gunfight. This is how I learned to center, and it has dramatically changed the way that I play the game. You never wanna go, you know, into a corner and be like, oh, there this guy is, now I have to snap over here, and it's just gonna cause you to miss shots. I never wanna be like this. You know what I mean? Whoever hits the first shot with their center dot on the enemy player is going to win the gunfight every single time. Just like this. So I'm always ready for the gunfight. Say this guy, you know, coming behind me, he's gonna walk right into my center dot, and I'm ready to take that challenge. Once you see a player, put your center dot on him and shoot before you aim in. So here I'm pressing down R1 before I actually aim in. You kill so much faster. Here, shooting before I aimed in. Shooting before I aimed in. Whoa, you're gonna kill so much quicker that way. And that's the secret to it. There's nothing special. There's no gimmick. There's no whatever, this guy's on 500 frames or something like that. Whoever hits the first bullet and centers appropriately is going to win the gunfight every single time. Now, other than that, I know a lot of people talk about movement. There's a lot of people trying to be movement gods, whatever. There's not a whole lot to it. Whenever you, again, when you see an enemy player, you don't want to be here, oh, I saw him, let me slide and then try to shoot. No, if you're playing a really good player, you're going to lose that gunfight almost every single time. As soon as you see them, you need to shoot your gun. So like here, you know, I'm not even sliding. I'm just seeing the enemy player and I'm shooting my gun. Do you, just don't slide after you see somebody. As far as shooting your gun goes, it really is super easy to shoot your gun straight in this game and in any Call of Duty game. Now, a lot of people, especially newer players or players that don't play that much, they overcorrect a lot. So they see someone, they get nervous, they start whacking around everywhere like that, missing all their shots. Really, all you need to do is just put a little bit of pressure on your right stick and the game will aim for you. Now, when you're strafing and you're barely pulling down on your right stick, the game is going to give you rotational aim assist, and your gun is going to look like it's shooting super straight, so it's going to be easy to see the enemy player. Medium to far range, you know, center, and just move your left stick and barely pull down. You're going to hit your shots. Recoil control combined with aim assist is going to be what gives you a straight shot. I mean, oh my god, look at that. I want to jump into some of the settings. Jumping in here, you know, just some controller settings. Now, sensitivity, this is going to be personal preference. Some people, you know, they're having an insane shot and they play, you know, 1.8, 1.9 cents, maybe even higher. And then other people, you know, like myself, play a lower sensitivity. Now me, I'd like to play 1.4. I've always been a 5.5 player or a 6.6 player. I mean, since like Black Ops 2, dude. Number one way you can find out, you know, what sense is going to work best for you is jump into a bots game or whatever. Just put them on recruit or casual and just strafe around and try to keep your center dot on the enemy player at all times. Now, if you're flicking around and you can't really, you know, maintain it, or you're way off like this, like no, you need to lower your sense for sure. Whenever you download the game and you hop right on, you're gonna shoot with your bumpers. Now, I think this is a bad thing unless you have a DualSense Edge or a Battle Beaver. If you have, you know, digital tap triggers or trigger stops or something like this, by all means, you know, do you play L2, R2, doesn't really matter. If you have a default controller, you need to be playing L1, R1 flipped. You're going to shoot faster, you know, with your bumper as opposed to your trigger, because you don't have to pull the bumper all the way down like you do the trigger, you know. So if I have to pull the trigger, it's gonna take me a lot longer for the game to register that I want to shoot my gun. Now in Call of Duty, obviously every millisecond matters. Whoever gets the first shot off and has good centering is going to win the gunfight. Those milliseconds, they really do matter. Controller vibration, turn it off. You don't need it. Last thing you want is you're in a gunfight and it's a millisecond gunfight where a millisecond can make a difference. You're trying to shoot your gun and track an enemy player and your controller's just buzzing all around. It's a distraction. Turn it off. Don't need it. Yeah, keep it off. Now, dead zone, this is kind of a hot topic. A lot of people, you know, I'm all over TikTok or on YouTube. Everyone's, oh, you need to be playing a 1 dead zone or play the lowest dead zone possible. Now, I don't agree with this. I don't think that is right, because say, hey, you know, say I'm here and I'm playing 1 dead zone, right? My controller is more sensitive to input, you know, because I'm not going to have to move my stick as far for the game to register that I want to move. Now, can people, you know, come in and say, yeah, you're gonna get better input latency or whatever running a lower dead zone? Absolutely. But at the same time, you know, if your stick is too sensitive for you as a player, you know, you're gonna come in here and you're gonna be overcorrecting, you know, when you're trying to shoot your gun. You're gonna be flicking it around because the game is registering, you know, the input too quickly for you as a player. So I always say dead zone is a personal preference thing. I like 4. I can play a 3. I just don't like it as much. I think aim assist is stronger the higher dead zone you play. Now, does that mean you need to be going and playing a 10 or 15 or 20 dead zone? Absolutely not. Lowest I would say to go is a 3. If you want to play a 2, you can give 2 a shot, see if it feels better for you as a player. But realistically, you know, I wouldn't go below a 3. It's not really necessary. It actually feels like you get more aim assist the higher dead zone, you know, that you have. You know, I wouldn't go over a 5 or a 6. Right stick maximum, do not touch this. Don't put it at 100. Don't put it at 90. Don't mess with that. That's your right stick aiming. It needs to be consistent all the time. No guessing. The less guessing you have to do, the more gunfights you're gonna win. Left stick, I am a believer that you need to be having your left stick moving all the time. Now, when your left stick is moving, the game is going to pick up on rotational aim assist. So you can see here I'm moving around and the game is almost aiming for me. I always want the game to be registering a left stick input, so I can always have, you know, rotational aim assist or whatever. I play 0. I wouldn't go over a 2. It's not really necessary. Left stick maximum, this one, most people play 60, and I actually used to play 60, but I found out that I couldn't control my player, you know, and where I was strafing, playing a 60. That's one of the most important things. You always want to be able to have full control over your character, whether that be, you know, strafing in a gunfight, moving around, doing whatever it is that you're doing on the map. You want to have full control over your player, and you don't want any guessing games. I wouldn't go lower than like a 55 or a 50. It's just gonna be too quick. Your player's gonna be hitting, you know, max velocity at halfway through your stick. You're just not gonna be able to control your strafing. Put it on like 60 or 70. I wouldn't go higher than a 75 unless you're just gonna leave it at 99 how it comes. But yeah, I play 70, mess around with it, see what feels best for you. Now, aiming sensitivity multiplier, this is personal preference. I know a lot of people come in here and they're like, hey, you know, don't touch it, just leave it at 1. I actually like my ADS to be a little bit slower than my actual sense. You know, whenever I play on 1, I feel like my shot is a little shaky at times and I can't really control it perfectly or do exactly what I need to do. I like to play 0.9. You know, if your ADS sensitivity feels a little bit too fast, you like it to be a little bit slower, maybe move it to a 0.9, maybe a 0.8. I would not go lower than a 0.8. If you need to go lower than a 0.8, just turn down your regular sensitivity to something that will line up more for you. In here in aiming advanced settings, there's 2 things that we need to change. First off, this one, ADS sensitivity transition timing, put it on instant. Again, you know, when we're playing gradual, you can even look at what this says. Sensitivity multiplier is progressively applied when alternating between, you know, your hip fire or, you know, when you're just running around and then being ADS'd. We don't need to be playing any guessing games in Call of Duty. Everything needs to be consistent if you want to be the best player possible. It needs to be consistent. You need to know what to expect. Put it on instant. Don't change it. Definitely do not run after zoom. It's a waste, you know. Just take it off gradual, put it on instant. Shouldn't have a problem there. Now, aim response curve type, standard, throw it out the window. If you're not playing dynamic, I really don't know what you're doing. Dynamic is the best for sure. I mean, everybody plays it. It feels like you get more aim assist. Just play dynamic. You're gonna have a better time. If you want to play linear, you can play linear. It's a little bit more predictable. But then again, you know, it's not really worth it. I just play dynamic and call it a day. Aim assist, we obviously want to have that on. Sprint assist, I play auto tag sprint, and my sprint assist delay is at 3 so that I'm not like I get a lot of dead slides and stuff if I play with it on 0. I know a lot of people are going to come here and go, play it on 0, play on 0. I get dead slides. I don't know if it's just me doing something wrong. Ever since I moved it to 3, I haven't been getting as many dead slides, and it's worked really, really well for me. Mantle assist, turn this off. We don't want to be mantling in gunfights. Crouch assist, turn it off. Absolutely turn it off. Don't need it. Corner slice, this is a personal preference thing, excuse me. I don't like corner slice. I think that it is a waste. I don't like my screen turning sideways whenever I'm getting in a gunfight or something like that. I just leave it off. Again, it has no competitive advantage in any way. If you like it, turn it on, but realistically, turn that shit off. You don't need it. Slide dive behavior. Now in here, there is only 2 options that you need to be playing at all times. Either slide only or hybrid. Don't run tap to slide. Don't run tap to dive or dive only. You know, slide only or hybrid. No, I just play hybrid. I'd like to slide. I like to dive. I like to, you know, be able to do both and control my player and tell him when to do both with no delay. So hybrid is the best for me. But yeah, slide only or hybrid. Those are your only 2 choices. Automatic airborne mantle, turn this off. I know a lot of people run partial because it can prevent a fall. I've actually had times in Warzone where I'm like playing ranked and, you know, I'm diving or I'm jumping off of control center, and my character actually would mantle back up onto the roof when I'm trying to get away. So I like to control my player fully, tell him what to do, when to do it. So I play with this off. I recommend you do 2. Sprint restore, slide maintain sprint. So sprint restore, we need to keep this on all the time. It's just better, just keep it on. Slide maintain sprint is weird. So you'll know I have it on right now, and it's like when I slide, I can continue to sprint. It's very smooth. I can continue to sprint around the map or whatever. But when you turn it off, it's almost like your gun is ready to shoot faster because your character doesn't continue to sprint after a slide. You know, you don't slide as far, and it's also not as smooth, but it's like my gun is ready to shoot faster. I don't know how to describe that. If I was playing multiplayer, to be honest, I don't care what anyone says, I would turn the setting off. But since I play Warzone and I'm already used to it, and I like the, you know, the slide to continue my sprint, I just leave it on. But yeah, you know, you can actually shoot a little bit faster when you turn the setting off. It's really weird how it works, dude. I don't know. Parachute automatic behavior. This is for Warzone. Turn it off. You never need the game pulling your parachute for you, especially if you're diving off of a building, running from a team chasing you. You want to be able to pull your chute right before you hit the ground, so you don't get zapped out of the air. Mantle cancels reload. I have this on. I know a lot of people don't have this on. I like to have this on because, again, if I'm playing Warzone and I'm reloading my gun and somebody catches me off guard and they bust in the room and I want to jump out of a window, you know, I can jump out of the window without getting stuck in the game keeping me in a reload animation. It's going to cancel my reload and let me get out of the window. I like this. I swear by this. Yeah, I think you should turn it on. Movement advanced, really 2 things in here. Grounded mantle, 100% turn it on unless you're a multiplayer player. I like to get this animation here. Well, not that, I don't know what that was, but this little hop up animation when you're hopping onto stuff like this. You can't get this if you don't have grounded mantle, you know, on. Let me see, where it's like this, like that, you're gonna get that animation. With grounded mantle on, I swear by this, you can hop out windows a lot faster. You're not gonna get stuck on windows and things like that. So For Warzone, if you're playing Warzone, 100%, turn that on. Put over into combat. Not really much to change in here. The only thing I changed is armor plate behavior from apply 1 to apply all. Combat advanced settings, really, there's nothing in here. Maybe the akimbo behavior, you can put on paired instead of independent. Nothing really more for the controller settings. Let's go ahead and jump into the graphics settings. So over here, basically, it's only a couple really things to change on the display tab. Refresh rate, put it at the highest available, always. You don't need to be playing, 140 if you're on 240, or 120 if you're on 140, or anything else. So put it on the highest possible. Whatever resolution you're playing on, if you're playing 1080, put it on 1080. If you're playing 1440, put it on 1440. Aspect ratio, I don't touch this. Display gamma, I don't touch this. Brightness, now I'm on an OLED monitor, so I play 50 brightness. This is personal preference. Turn it up to where you can see people in corners, but don't turn it up so high that the game looks washed out. And then obviously I wouldn't really go low down or go lower in the brightness because the game's already dark as it is. Low latency, this is pretty simple to explain. If you are GPU bound in your setup, so your GPU is maxed out, your CPU still has more room, put this on. If you are CPU bound in your setup, run on plus boost. The way you can figure this out, just go to benchmark when you're in the menu, and you can do benchmark tool, and you can run a benchmark, and it will tell you if you're GPU bound or CPU bound. Eco mode, custom, whatever. VSync, turn this off. I have it off for gameplay and in the menus. Now, a lot of people for custom frame rate, they're going to tell you, put it on unlimited, put it on unlimited. Now, me personally, I don't want my PC running 250 frames in the menu, so I have my menu frame rate limit capped. I have a 240 hertz monitor. I play 240 in game. No problem there. Menu render resolution doesn't really matter. Run whatever you want. I have it on optimal. I think that's how it comes, when you download the game. Pause game rendering. I don't even know what this is, so I have it off. Let me see if there's any focus mode. Put it on 0, and then obviously HDR we want to have turned off. Quality. This is going to be system based. Now for me, I am on a 4090, so this is going to depend on your system, but there are a couple universals. Render resolution, we're always going to have this at 100. Never really drop it down. I mean, unless you're really struggling for frames, you can drop it down to like a 97 or something. But don't really change this. It's going to make your game look fuzzy. You don't want it. Dynamic resolution, turn it off. Upscaling sharpening, this is universal. Fidelity, FX cast. Put the strength to 90. If you run 100, the game's going to look really sharp, and it's gonna look weird. So yeah, put it on 90. Frame generation, turn this off. It's gonna cause input lag. Both of them, you don't need them on. It's ridiculous. VRAM, if your game is hitching and stuttering, you can drop this to like a 70 or a 65, and it should help with that. Put it on 70 to 80%, and you should be good to go. Variable rate shading, what that does is it actually makes the outside of the edges of your screen a little blurry to help massively with performance. So, but it's weird because like look at these people over here to my left, like right here. Even when they're on the edge of my screen, I can still see them. It's not like, oh, it's inhibiting, competitive advantage because I can't see the edge of my screen, because I can see everyone right here. Like look, I can still see this guy to the right, I can see that guy to the left. Turn it on, it's gonna help with performance. There's no reason to be running it off. There really is no competitive advantage between low and very low unless you're on a super low end system. I actually noticed that I got better frames running low over very low. Now, granted, again, I am on a 4090, but I was getting more frames running low over very low. Now, the difference between low and normal was like a 5 frame difference, I think, or 8 frame difference. So for me, I like to run normal. I like my game to look a little bit better. But if you're on a 3070, even, yeah, probably a 3070 or newer or better, just put it on low. Unless you're on 4080, 4090, you can run it on normal all day, no problem. Texture filter, this doesn't really have an impact on frames unless you put it on ultra or even high. I'd recommend putting this on normal. Makes the game look a little bit better. I think it costs like 1 frame literally, so it doesn't make a difference. Only put it on low if you're on a super low end system and you're really hurting for frames. Otherwise, keep it normal. Makes the game look better. Depth of field, turn this off. You don't need it. It's ridiculous. It causes the sides of your ADS view to go blurry. We definitely don't want this in multiplayer. You can actually see in the picture above around this area right here, it's kind of blurry and blurred out. We don't want that. Detail quality, this one doesn't really have an effect on frames either. I play low. I don't know why. I could easily be playing normal. I just put it on low. If you want to put it on low, great. If you want your game to look a little bit better, put it on normal. Don't put it on high. We don't need to be running anything on high for competitive settings. Particle res, this one is, it's kind of personal preference. If you have a good PC, say someone throws a grenade at you in rank play or something like that, or if you're in Warzone, there's a lot of napalm strikes, there's a lot of precision airstrikes and explosions and things like that. So this will actually help you to see through them. It helps you to see through smoke and particles and things like that. Put it on low or very low if you want to see more through the smoke and stuff like that. Not like a smoke grenade, but through explosions. You can put it on normal, but I keep it on very low for frames. Bullet impacts, personal preference. If you want your bullet impacts on in the firing range so you can track your recoil pattern or whatever, turn it on. Doesn't make a difference in performance. Persistent effects, absolutely turn this off. This is explosions and stuff like that. Again, multiplayer and Warzone. There's explosions, there's grenades, there's precision airstrikes. This will drag a lot of frames if you turn this on. Keep it off, turn it off. Don't need it. It's going to help you out frame wise. Now, shader quality, again, I'm on a 4090, so for me, I like to play medium, makes the game look a little bit better. If you want the max amount of frames possible, I'd put it on low. I think the game looks significantly better on medium, so I play on medium. But if you want the absolute max amount of frames possible, or you're on a low end system, put it on low. On-demand texture streaming. Now, a lot of people will put this on minimal. Again, I think the game looks a little bit better when I have it on. Now, I do have a download limit set so that the game's not downloading shit in the background while I'm trying to play and causing input lag or whatever's going on there. So I have it on optimized and I have a download limit set at 1. Next, local texture streaming quality. This one, I would put it on low unless you're on a 4090, 4080, or 5090, 5080, whatever the new ones are now. I'd put it on low. Basically, this is just the surrounding area of the map that you are on. So the background, is it going to be better quality or lower quality? I play normal. I'm on a 4090. Doesn't hurt my performance in any way. And I like looking at the background sometimes. It looks very scenic and nice. So I play normal. If you're going for max frames, put it on low. Shadow quality. Now, this one, don't put it on very low. I mean, if you're running very low, especially like out in Warzone, bro, those shadows look horrendous. Horrendous. And I think it's awful. I can't stand it. I actually noticed that I had these same frames between very low and low, at least in my testing. Again, I have a 4090, so I had the same exact frames and the shadows looked a little bit better. So I run low. If you're on a system, not a very high-end system, or even a medium-end system, you can run very low for the max amount of frames possible. But I just can't stand those like jagged shadows, bro. They look so bad. So I play low instead of very low. Now the rest of these settings are pretty much going to be low and off. You don't need them. You don't want them. They're just going to hurt your performance. Screen space shadows off. Occlusion off. Reflections, definitely turn this off. This is going to eat your frames. Reflection quality low. Tessellation, we don't need tessellation, turn it off. Volumetric quality, turn it off. Again, this is going to hurt your frames. Physics quality off. Weather grid off. Water quality off. You don't need any of this, at least in a competitive standpoint. If you're going to play campaign, whatever, turn it on. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, for what we're going for, turn it off. It's just going to help you. This is personal preference. Play whatever FOV you want. I know a lot of people play 120. I don't like 120. I can't aim as well on 120. I think 110 is the sweet spot. Now, if you're playing multiplayer or multiplayer ranked person, don't go above 110. There's no reason to be playing 120 in multiplayer. It's just not necessary. You don't need to be cracked trying to be a movement god inside of multiplayer. Put it on 110. It's going to help you out a lot. Characters are going to be a little bit bigger on your screen. So yeah, I think I even play 110 in Warzone. I think it's the sweet spot, but personal preference, I play 110. ADS field of view, everyone needs to be running affected unless you're Celium or a main AR in the CDL. You can run independent, put it on affected. No reason to be playing anything else. Weapon field of view, this is personal preference. You can run wide or default. I wouldn't put it on narrow. Your gun looks way too big. You can see in the description there, weapon looks smaller. I just play wide. I don't know why. I could easily play default. Either one works. Third person FOV, put this on the max so that whenever you're driving a car around in Warzone, you can see all around you. Vehicle field of view, want it to be wide. So when you're driving around again, you can see everything around you. Motion blur, turn it off. Weapon motion blur, turn it off. If you're playing with these on, I automatically think you're a bot. You can literally see in the picture above what that's going to do to your game. You could see it moving around. When you're moving, it's going to blur out your screen. Nobody wants this. We're playing competitively. We want to be the best players on the game. We need to see everything. We don't want anything to be blurry. Camera movement, again, also same thing. Put it on least. We don't need our screen shaking around while we're in a gunfight jumping or there's an explosion near us or something. Put it on least. No reason to be running anything else. Inverted flashbang, this is personal preference. Whichever one you like. I have mine off, but I've turned it on from time to time, especially if I'm playing late at night. Yeah, I just keep mine off. It's personal preference. Doesn't really matter. Jumping into audio. Not really a whole lot to talk about over here in audio. I have EQ settings running through SteelSeries Sonar, so I still play Treyarch mix because I have EQ settings. It doesn't really make a difference. If you don't have EQ settings, I would recommend Sucker Punch. You're going to hear more footsteps, especially in Warzone. Put on Sucker Punch. If you got EQ stuff, you can mess around with it in your own time. I still play Treyarch mix because I am playing with EQ. Coming over into the interface, not a whole lot to talk about here, at least on this first tab. Telemetry I do have on. I have FPS, server latency, packet loss, and GPU temp. Readability, not too much to talk about here either, except for color customization. You can come in here and change, whatever colors you like. I used to play, and I do from time to time, switch back and forth between enemy colors. Sometimes I'll put my enemy color on bright pink. It's just easier to see the dot and stuff like that, at least for me personally. But right now I have it on red. Doesn't really make a difference. You can do whatever you like. Color filter, this one, put it on filter 2, both, and then turn the intensity for world and interface up to 100. This just makes your game pop a little bit more. It's going to look better. If you really want to test it out and see the difference, go into a private game, turn it on, then turn it off, then turn it on, and you'll see a difference. Definitely better to put it on filter 2. Don't mess around with that. Gameplay HUD. There's a couple things to talk about in here. Minimap rotation on. Make sure that your minimap is square. Anytime I see somebody with a circle minimap, I automatically know they are a bot and they have no idea what they're doing. Put it on square. Everybody plays square. It's a bigger area. Put it on square. There's one more thing, and this is personal preference to me. Now, sometimes if I'm in a game and I'm playing against professional players or really good players, or say one person has killed me a couple different times, I don't want to know who I'm in a gunfight against, so I've just put mine on icon only. I don't want to see names at the top of the player. It's ridiculous. So I put it on icon only, and then also, you can see in the pictures above, the little dot will actually move right on top of their head. So sometimes you can't see players except, through the smoke or something like that. Sometimes you'll get, their name or whatever. When you have the dot on, it's right above their head. So if you just aim right below the dot, you can, it's super easy to hit people. I think it's better. I play icon only. I recommend you do too. Other than that, crosshair, put it on static. Some people, move their center dot and make it bigger. I don't think that's necessary. I play default and I play white. I know some people change their crosshair color or whatever. It's not really necessary. Hit markers, leave those on, and I don't think there is anything else really to talk about in here. That's all there is to it. Super easy. Be on the lookout for more videos. I'm going to be posting more. I know I always say this like every year because I post like once a year, but I really am, especially with BO7 coming up. I've already nuked out in the beta and stuff. I wish I would have got it on video, but yeah, be on the lookout. Thank you guys.